Hello and welcome. This next presentation by Lucy Njuki and Yuanyuan Zhang is one that every level of RShiny user in academia or in industry will find value in. Their talk, Making Project Management Seamless Using Automated Gantt Charts in RShiny, will take a practical look into the use of RShiny apps for automating visualization updates and tracking task progression. Lucy is a research assistant at the Center for Epidemiology versus Arthritis at the University of Manchester and master student in statistics and data science at Hasselt University. Lucy is a fan of R, leveraging R for most of her tasks and project assignments. Great. She's also an active member of the R community and an organizer of R Ladies Nairobi. Yuanyuan is a research associate at the Center for Digital Trust and Society at the University of Manchester. Yuanyuan's research is in the general area of statistical modeling, distribution theory, and data science with applications in finance. Yuanyuan uses R to perform statistical and machine learning models, develop R software packages, and build awesome data visualization tools and interactive dashboards for medical science and financial data. Lucy, Yuanyuan, welcome to the stage. Lucy, I think you're muted. There you go, I think.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for the great introduction. I'm Lucy, and with me is Dr. Yuan, and we'll be presenting Making Project Management Seamless Using Automated Gantt Charts in RShiny. The overview of the talk will be as follows. We'll give you some background information as to what led us to develop this RShiny app. We'll then take you through the development of our RShiny app. And lastly, we'll show you a demonstration of the working of the Shiny app. And additionally, we'll point you to some of the resources and references that you can use to create your own Gantt chart to keep track of your project tasks. For most of our jobs, it is highly likely that we are involved in more than one project, and each project has multiple tasks. And if we don't keep a record of the progress of these tasks, can be quite difficult in knowing which tasks you've completed and which tasks are of highly importance that needs your attention. Most often, Gantt charts are recommended for project management. However, the cost of project management tools can be quite high. As an example, stated in the Chanty source, we see that the range of the costs of the project management tools such as Chanty ranges from about $4 to $29 per user per month. We were recently asked by our line manager to create a Gantt chart to show the overall picture of our project tasks. And we opted to use R, not only because we rely on it to do our daily tasks, but also it is an open source platform that offers a great deal of packages that we can use to create Gantt charts. Our initial thought was to use R Markdown to display the Gantt charts and the underlying dataset that contains the tasks, which we then shared with our line manager as an HTML file. However, these projects keep on evolving. So that means that we are assigned a new task, or the status of a particular task has changed. As an example, let's say that task, it was on hold, and now you are now able to do it, and that should be reflected in the Gantt chart as you're presenting to our line manager. So to do this, we had to rerun the R Markdown scripts, which can be quite inconvenient. On this slide, I present the Gantt charts that we created using the R Markdown package. So on the top right, we have that is the Gantt chart that we created. Below, we have the data sets with the tasks in terms of the start and the end dates of a particular task. And on the left, we have the R Markdown script that we had to rerun to present the updated Gantt charts. Luckily, the RShiny came to our help in automating this process. And with that, I will pass the virtual mic to my colleague to take us through how RShiny was able to come to our rescue.
So we developed a Shiny app that automates the task tracking process and offers interactive functionality across several pages. And it contains homepage, Gantt chart page, progress page, create your own page, and about the app page. You can find more detailed information with this hyperlink, and my teammate will show you the demo session of the Shiny app with this link very shortly. And in this app, we use the two different ways to import the data. One is to load the data, which is a CSV dummy data file from the local path. And this will lead to the page, home page, Gantt chart page, progress page. And the other way is to create your own data with the fixed column names reactively within the app, and then generate the Gantt chart automatically. And this will lead to the page, create your own. Next. Here is the home page, which presents an overview of the project tasks. On this page, we provided a list of data realization plots for project management. It has the following features. For example, we use the value boxes to show the number of tasks and the different status. And also, we use the DT tables to provide the project overview for our dummy data. And we also create a pie chart to show our research areas. And on top of that, we use a bar plot to show the number of tasks and the different status for different projects. And in the end, we have used two DT tables to show the detailed information of the upcoming deadlines and the overdue tasks. As you know, a Gantt chart is a tuple bar plot which show the activities, for example, like events or tasks that against time. So in this section, we use ggplot2, Plotly, and ThisTime, these three R packages to generate Gantt charts for the dummy data. And the first Gantt chart is plotted by ggplot2. And with this method, we need to transform the dataset into a long format first. Well, as you can see from the picture, it is possible to color code the projects. However, we can't grouping the tasks belonging to the same project together by default. And the second Gantt chart is using the Plotly with a for loop. And this will allow for grouping projects together, but only if they are inputted together in the data file. And here we use the Duck2 palette from the R Color Brewer package. And the last Gantt chart is using the package ThisTime. ThisTime is a quite well-known package which can produce the interactive timeline plots with ThisTime function. And one point need to be noticed is the data frame you use must contain the event and start columns. If your column are named otherwise, you will need to tell the function. As you can see from the Gantt chart, all the tasks belonging to the same project has been grouped together, which by default, which make the Gantt chart looks much neater. One big drawback for this method is it can be challenging to customize the label size of tasks with long names, but accomplished within a short time period. It is very crucial to keep track of how much progress has been made on a task relative to its estimated completion time for both lab managers and researchers themselves. For this case, we use a Plotly package to plot a progress graph with a general line chart which shows the discrepancy between the actual and the expected task completion dates. As you can see, the x-axis stands for the estimated or the actual end date, and the y-axis stands for the specific task progress in terms of the whole project. And we also created the radio buttons for users to choose to view the plot and the different projects. All the Gantt chart and progress plot can be downloaded from the download button in the picture. And this is your create your own page. So create your own page is the reactive section of our app. We integrate a R Hansen table with an Excel appearance, which will then be used to populate a Gantt chart. Users can see a table with column names fixed once land on this page, who will then need to input the data into each columns provided. And after choosing different package name, the Gantt chart will be automatically plotted. Moreover, you can take the screenshot for either the Gantt chart you choose or the full screen. This reactive section will be very useful as the projects are evolving. So this is the page about the Shiny app. So here got all the information about our Shiny app. For example, the background regarding why we want to create this app, and where you can download the code if you want to rerun the whole app. And we also list some resources that has been used to build our Shiny app, some information about authors, and also the contact information if you want to seek for help. Yeah. So here is a list of R package we used in our app. For example, the Shiny dashboard and the R Hansen table, which is a data grid component with an Excel appearance, and also for the Vista package, which is a really useful R package, which can create the Gantt chart. And for the additional features, we use the Shiny screenshot, which can take the screenshot for the full screen or any graph you want. And here comes the conclusion of some interesting features about our app. So this Shiny app allows users to bookmark it. So with the link, please click the link. It will take you directly to the home page. And we have demonstrated the use of 3 packages for creating Gantt charts, and users can choose which one do they prefer. And also, this Shiny app allows users to take screenshots of the entire screen or the single graph. And also on top of that, we utilize the package such as R Hansen to create a data table that can serve as a data collection tool and updates the Gantt chart automatically. And that's everything from me, and I will hand it over to my teammates.
Okay, thank you, Yuan. Has our talk been of interest to you and you'd wish to create your own Gantt chart to keep a track of your project tasks? Then we have some starting points of several these stated blog posts that you can use to read on and create your own. Additionally, we have the Mastering Shiny book by Dr. Hadley, which has some information about bookmarking of an RShiny app. And lastly, we do have the link to the GitHub repository that contains our R scripts, can be found on this hyperlink. These are the references that we used in creating and developing of the RShiny app. Lastly, this wouldn't have been successful without the help of colleagues and friends who greatly helped with the testing of the app. I want to thank you everyone for listening to us, and next I'll move to the demonstration of the working of the app. Okay. Sorry about that. Just a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we have, this is the deployed app that we created, and I will show you the different pages that we have in our app. So first of all, I will show you how you can generate your own Gantt charts following this page. So on this page, we have an empty data table that has these columns, and to generate the Gantt chart, which will be displayed below here, you need to input data following these columns. All right, so let me show you an dummy data. So here we have a dummy data that we'll use to generate our own Gantt charts as an illustration. We have these columns. We have the project showing the project name. We have the task in each of the projects. We then have an estimated start and end date. We also have the actual start and the actual end date for each task. And then we have the duration days. So this is basically the end minus the start date. We have the column status, which informs us the status of a particular task. Is it completed? Is it on hold? Is it active? And so on. We have the column milestone. Milestone informs us of the progress of each task, how far you are from completing it. And for the overall progress, we have a column informing us how far you are from completing all the tasks for a particular project. These two columns, milestone and overall, they are in terms of percentage. So it does range from 0 to 100%. And lastly, we have the column signed by who is responsible for doing that particular task. So I'll copy just a bit of the data sets, to illustrate this. Okay. We have a data table now with our tasks, and the advantage of using our hands-on table is that it allows us to make edits within the data table. So as an example, I would want all the cell values to be center aligned. Sorry. So what I can do is what I can do is load. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So I select all the data sets, and then I right click and say that I want everything to be center aligned. We have search. We also have another feature of, if I would want to add a row, I would want to insert a row above, I can also remove that particular row. I can also make changes within the data table, and the same changes will be reflected in our Gantt chart. So let's see the generated Gantt chart. So here we have the generated Gantt chart using the ggplot2 package. And as you can see that the bars have been color-coded based on the different projects. And below we have the task dates. And if you hover around a particular bar, you can see the particular task, the start date, and the project. So the tasks belonging to each project. If you hover at the end of this particular bar, you can see the end dates of that task. We can also see the same has been, a Gantt chart has been generated now using the Plotly package, and we can see what has been pointed out on the slides. It's that, so these two tasks do belong to the same project, and additionally also these two tasks do belong to the same project. And lastly, it's the VisTime package. And here we can see very good compartments that have been created based on the different projects. And again, it's also interactive. So if you hover around a particular bar, you can see information about the start and the end dates of a particular task. Okay, so suppose the status of a particular task has changed. So as an example, that we'll have a task that is meant now to start. So let's keep a track of project 3 here. We don't have the automation task, but we want it now. That should be reflected in our updated Gantt chart. So how do we do that? We come here and edit it. So let's say that this automation task, I completed it. I started on 1st of March 2023. And then I did end it at 15th of March 2023. I can just as an illustration, let's edit this and say this is actually completed. So we'll see this particular task reflected in our Gantt chart, and that is seen clearly here now on project 3. We have now the task automation. You can hover around and see the start and the end date of that task. And another feature of this page is that you can download this particular CSV file by clicking here, download. It should download a CSV file. Then also you can capture you can capture a particular plot. So we see here the Gantt chart has been exported. The CSV file has been exported. We can capture the plot. So clicking that will take the screenshots and download it. Yeah. And again, now we would want to capture the entire page and just share this with our line manager. We can again just click here on capture the entire page and a screenshot will be downloaded. Yeah. Okay. Now going on to the other pages, we have the home page. So the home page shows the project tasks overview for the underlying data sets that was already fed into the Shiny app. So here we can see the progress of the tasks in terms of the tasks that have been completed, those in progress, those that have been postponed, and the tasks that have been cancelled. We have here a data table showing us the data table showing us the underlying data with the tasks. And again, we can see the same columns. We have the estimated start dates and estimated end dates and so on. Below here, we have two visualizations that are showing us the research areas. So here we can deduce from this chart that we tend to spend most time by doing project 1 as compared to the other projects. And when we look at this bar plots on the right side, we see the tasks in terms of the count of tasks in terms of is it active, cancelled, and so on. And again, this is also interactive, so you can hover around and see how many tasks per project that are active, completed, and so on. And this can help you as a user to make an informed decision onto which project tasks I can prioritize on. Lastly, below here, we have very important information, which is on upcoming deadline and any overdue tasks. Okay, if we now go to the other page, which is on the Gantt charts, which have been well described on the slides. So we have the Gantt charts. Again, we can see that the projects, the bars have been color coded based on the projects. And if you hover around, you can get information about that particular task. We also have the feature of downloading a particular graph, Gantt charts, and it will be saved as an HTML file, which will retain the interactiveness of that chart. Below here, we see the Gantt chart that was created using the Plotly package. Yeah, we see that the projects have been, the bars have been color coded based on the project. And again, we have an advantage when using the for loop. We can group the project bars together. Yeah, only if we did input them in the data file, like the project's tasks together. Yeah. And lastly, we have the Gantt chart that was created using the FaceTime. The advantage of it is that just by looking at it clearly, you can see which tasks belong to which project. And additionally, it's an interactive, it has its interactiveness, so which allows us to get more information about a particular task, which is visualized. So as an example, let me show you the Gantt chart that was downloaded. So it was downloaded as an HTML file. So you can easily just share this with your line manager and inform them that these are the tasks that have been assigned in this particular time period. And if you hover around, you can see more information about them. You can again download the Gantt charts from created using the FaceTime package and the one created using the Plotly package. And lastly, we have the progress report graph. This is of importance because when you are assigned a task, often my line manager asks me, when do you think you'll be able to complete a task? And if you have done, if I'm engaged in such a project that is similar to one that I've done before, using this information generated from this graph, I can have a better estimate as to when I think I'll be able to do particular tasks of an entire project. As this progress report graph tells us it tells us in terms of all the overall progress for a particular project of all the tasks. And again, we have the radio buttons that we can click on to see the progress report for the different projects, and interactive because it was generated using Plotly. So you can see more information about more information when you hover around. And again, when you click on the download button here, it will download a graph that you can share with your line manager and so on. We have our last page, which is about the Shiny app, and this is basically the background information, the code, the sources, authors, and how, if you wish to contact us, how you can find our information. Thank you very much, and we'll welcome questions.
Hi, Lucy, Yuanyuan. That was excellent. There's a lot of conversation in chat and on the public chat here. Everyone's very excited about the tool and the use of this. It's actually really nice to see here. About how much curiosity has been sparked from this topic. So we do have a few questions. I think we have an extra 5 minutes for these questions. From Samuel, we have, is this being used in production? Assuming production being public facing, so students, lab managers, professors, are they using it? And how do you manage the hosting and the possible updates to the app?
Okay, that is a good question. Yes, so at the moment we are So regarding the using of, at the moment, only a few of colleagues are using it. We haven't expanded it such that students or other staffs within the university can use it. But that is our intention. That is our plan, our next plan to do that. And regarding the hosting of the app, so because this was simply for a showcase, we used the shiny.io to just host the app. However, we'll plan to communicate with our IT department and come up with a virtual machine that can be able to host the app, because most of the tasks, I believe, they deal with in confidential data. So we'll want to be quite sure about that no information is being leaked. Yes. Yuanyuan can add if I have left anything else.
Nothing really from my end. That is quite complete. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, and I think the app going down earlier was our fault on our end, because we someone posted the link to the app, and I think we gave it the hug of death. But glad it popped back up, so that's good.
Oh
yeah. From Andrew says, at Lucy and Yuanyuan, I love the charts and the design, but what is the process you implemented to update progress for each project?
Sorry, I think I lost you for a minute.
Sure. So Andrew asks, what is the process you implemented to update progress for each project?
So looking in terms of the overall progress and the milestone, Yuan can take this.
Yeah, so in terms of if you want to update different tasks for the project, like what we mentioned earlier, for the create your own page, you can easily input any data you want. For our case, for the overall progress, like those are the dummy data, but in the real life, you can calculate this based on the estimated totally hours divided by the total hours of the whole project to calculate the overall progress. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. From Chun, we have, regarding the expected and actual progress plot, does the app automatically calculate the percentage using the time allocated to tasks, or does the user need to manually enter a percentage?
Okay, I think that is a question for me as well. So it's literally for our app, like we haven't added that function at the moment yet, but it's definitely like an additional functions for the further step. So at the moment, we will need the users to add the progress manually, but in the future, we will hopefully soon to add these features to our app to help you to calculate this percentage of the overall progress and implement into this app.
Great. And then last question, I think unrelated to the app, but everyone was starting off at the first of the presentation asking how you created the amazing slides. I think particularly the graphic at the start.
I actually made Max benefit use of the PowerPoint.
Great.
Yeah, it was basically just a PowerPoint presentation. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining today. And if you have time to stick around, please feel free to do so. And of course, everyone in the chat, if you have more questions, of course, reach out to Lucy and Yuanyuan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.